Michigan State Spartans are welcoming the Michigan Wolverines to the Breslin Center. How will the Spartans stack up now that Corey Lucius has been dismissed by Coach Tom Izzo? We'll find out. Highlights are at 11. More good news for Red Wings fans. Just 2 days after securing captain Nick Lidstrom for 1 more year, the Wings have signed Thomas Holmstrom to a 2-year deal. The 37-year-old Swede signed on the dotted line with the Red Wings this afternoon. It's a deal which pays $2.25 million next year and $1.5 million the year after that. Hemlock dominated the first half of this game against Three Rivers, but the Wildcats came back from halftime rejuvenated. Thursday morning, Mid-Michigan had 3 teams in the state semifinals. Now, Friday night, all of them have been wiped out. When we last saw Mammoth Corona offensive lineman Jalen Schlachter, he was demolishing our vending machine and hopeful about his future as an Indiana Hoosier. My oh my, how things have changed since August. When the Hoosiers fired head coach Bill Lynch last November, it set off a domino effect of events that put Schlachter's future very much in limbo. 35 of the 37 players who signed letters of intent to play football at Saginaw Valley State University hail from Michigan, and a handful of those were high school standouts right here in our own backyard. This is not exactly what Michigan State expected to be doing on the first day of the Big Ten tournament. Instead of relaxing and preparing for their second-round game, the Spartans were forced to slug it out today with Iowa. For these girls, Saturday's game is going to be all about some friendly competition, playing their favorite sport of basketball, and perhaps most importantly, setting a great example for girls younger than they are to follow in their footsteps. Reporting from Flint, Krystle Holleman, NBC 25 Sports. Even though the Great Lakes Loons have enjoyed the comforts of home during a 10-game stint at Dow Diamond, the competition has been anything but easy. Dan Enos has some big shoes to fill at Central Michigan University, both on the field itself and on the sidelines.
You lose good players every year. It's all about the young guy's going to step up and take over from that.
Coming in to replace Butch Jones and take the reins of arguably the best team in the Mid-American Conference, Enos isn't the only fresh face stepping into the spotlight in Mount Pleasant. Ryan Radcliffe is a front runner in the race for starting quarterback.
I can run effectively, but I'm not Dan. I like to sit back there and pass, but you know what? Whatever the team calls me to do, that's what I'm going to do. So.
A new head coach, a new quarterback, but the same outlook, the CMU Chippewas are ready to tackle another tough season. Unlike the 2009 season, the Chips won't be facing a Pac-10 team in their season opener. But that doesn't mean the team won't be ready for a challenge ahead.
You know, sometimes you get people talking about seniority and senioritis and people getting a little bit lazy, although they had, since they had so much success, not us, These guys been doing a tremendous job helping the new coaching staff out and smoothing out the transition, and I think we've, been successful doing that, and they lead by example every day.
But have no fear, Chippewa fans. Coach Enos hopes that one certain thing will remain the same.
Hopefully they're going to continue to see we have more points than the other teams at the end of the game.
Krystle Holleman, NBC 25 Sports. In this house behind me, there's an athlete who has overcome incredible odds to continue playing the sport that he loves, thanks to some strong support from his teammates and a very generous donation from a family member. 17-year-old Robbie Raridan is no stranger to tough opponents in the pool at Grand Blanc High School, but there was one opponent he was not prepared for, a genetic kidney disorder called Alport syndrome.
Gradually throughout my life, the symptoms just kept getting worse.
In January 2008, Robbie's kidneys failed completely. The failure, paired with dialysis, resulted in Robbie missing the entire swim season in his sophomore year.
I didn't know it. My parents kept it a secret from me that I would eventually need a transplant.
It seemed as though everyone was willing to be the donor, from friends to fellow church members and, of course, family. In August 2008, the Raridans got some long-awaited good news. Robbie's Aunt Mary, his aunt through marriage on his father's side, was a match.
It was a long process, and it was very emotional along the way because there were times when we didn't know if we were gonna, if it was finally gonna ever come through. We found out about 2 weeks before the actual transplant, so I didn't have a lot of time. But I guess you kind of prepare yourself. I mean, I just kind of wanted it to be over with, and hopefully that everything would be a success, and that Robbie would start feeling better.
Now, nearly 2 years later, Robbie is back in the pool, not only at Grand Blanc High School, but also to compete in the U.S. Transplant Games held in Madison, Wisconsin. Those close to him aren't surprised by his drive.
I always knew Robbie had that will in him. We knew for a while about this, so it never was a question how he was going to bounce back and fight through everything and step right back in the pool. It takes extreme character to be able to get through something like this and excel.
It's good to see that he can, compete at the level that he, at a normal person can do, a healthy person. And so, yeah, plus it's always kind of special to think that my kidney's in there and that we're doing it together.
Upon his return from the transplant games, Robbie will return back to Grand Blanc to play varsity water polo for the Bobcats. Reporting from Grand Blanc Township, Krystle Holleman, NBC 25 Sports.